Healing is not a one-time event. It can begin with a one-time event, typically some form of sudden loss that disrupts our projection of what the future might be. However, the true work of healing is allowing that disruption to wake us from a deep state of unconsciousness, to release the personas we adapted into, and begin consciously piecing together the full truth of who we were meant to be. The experiences that catalyze healing are not trying to prompt us to simply recover from a blow to the ego, but for the first time, in many cases, to recognize our ego at all. It is a moment of reconciliation where we are asked to realize that, in the words of Michael Murphy, a greater life is pressing to be born. If we do not answer this call, it will continue to show up in our lives, often in similar patterns and feelings. We will continuously return to wondering, how am I still here? Or, how did I get here again? The answer is that the same wake-up call keeps coming in until our subconscious minds agree to embark on the journey of our own becoming. This is a process of fully restoring us into remembrance of the perfect, whole, and complete truth of who we are. It is a lifelong quest because we must tend to the gardens of our minds on a daily basis. Like children, they cannot completely manage themselves. Our lives require a higher functioning, future-considering adult aspect of ourselves to come forth and sit in the driver's seat. This is a journey because no healing, whether physical or spiritual, is something that occurs linearly, nor seamlessly. Life contracts before it expands, and pulls back before it leaps forward. This balancing act is not something we should resist, but rather embrace. The longer we avoid doing so, the longer we will dwell on the event or series of events that arose on our paths for the sake of waking us up, rather than truly beginning the more difficult but far more rewarding work. In many ways, the journey of healing is not so much a chapter in your story, but changing the way you write the entire book. It's a shift in the way you move through the world, one in which you move from being disappointed that life has not met your every expectation, to expanding your vision to perceive all of the magic, the wonder, the awe, the heartache, the loss, the gain, the contrast that makes us all perfectly and unpredictably human. Our healed selves are not our most flawless selves. They are not immune to sadness or grief or fear. They are just not controlled by those experiences any longer. They feel sadness when it is time for sadness, and grief when it is time to grieve, and contentment on a more regular basis. They fear things that are unknown or important, or both, but they do not allow that emotion to prevent them from moving forward. Life can be deeply challenging and profoundly unfair. And without the ability to move through the feelings that may accompany our experiences in real time, we often become trapped in the old stories we once wove around them. When we are able to validate, accept, and process our own human experience independent of anyone else, something magical occurs. We begin reconnecting with our true desires, heeding our subtlest instincts, and cease sabotaging our inspired thoughts and feelings. Through this, we tend to usher in a serendipitous unfolding of events. Over time, we begin to recognize that there is a common thread carrying us through each one of these experiences, which is our soul's silent guidance, ever present and always leading us just beyond what we can see in real time. As we start to recognize this power, we begin to trust it more. As we start to trust it more, we begin to follow it more closely. We have greater stretches of feeling ease and love